Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind scrappywife.com, and it's time to get my faith planner set up for the month of October. Let's do it. For the past 2 months, I have been using the Faith Planner from Kelva Plan to organize all of my studies for Illustrated Faith's monthly devotionals. I have a full unboxing of the new devotional from Illustrated Faith up on my channel. It is called Fear Not for the month of October, and I have been loving working in this planner. It's where I keep all my daily notes as I work through the devotional, as I read and study, and I'm excited to continue that through the month of October. Here's a look at September. And today I'm going to show you how I kind of get it all set up in advance. We're going to flip over to a new month. It's time for October. Let's start out though. I mentioned this in my unboxing. I have been decorating. This is a cover from Kelva Plan. I've been decorating it with stickers from Illustrated Faith that go with their different devotionals. And so this month we have this gorgeous sticker. And so I think I'm going to add it in as well right here. We're going to just overlap it right here with this one. Created for love, for hope, for power, for joy, for purpose, not for a spirit of fear. And I cannot wait till this cover is completely full of all of these awesome stickers. So all of the goodies I'm using are from Illustrated Faith. I will link that shop down below. They have a physical side of the shop and a digital side of the shop. So if you're looking for physical goodies like this to be mailed to you, make sure you shop on that side. If you want digital goodies that you can print out on your own, then make sure to head to the Print and Pray side of the shop. Otherwise, I'm going to put you guys on fast forward. Let's go. All right, so I'm starting out on the monthly layout. I have pulled out Mojo Jojo's Date It sticker book to add in all the days of the month for the month of October. And now I'm just going to decorate the sides. I primarily use the month just to track what lessons are happening each week. Sometimes these devotionals overlap. So for instance, this one starts October the 1st on a Sunday, makes it super simple, but this one will end on the 31st on Tuesday. A new one will start. I just like to keep track of what lesson I am studying each week, and it's fun to decorate this page. So I'm going to start out with a little bit of washi tape here on the side. This is some past washi tape that I have in my stash, some yellow grid, some kind of orange spotty dot washi that is from Illustrated Faith in the past. Like I said, there are some beautiful new releases of washi tape over Illustrated Faith, and if you love to use washi tape, you should definitely check them out. What I love about Illustrated Faith washi is that oftentimes you can use it in so many different projects instead of only your faith-based projects or only planning or only Bible journaling. It's just really useful washi tape, and so I happen to really like it. So I ended up deciding to go ahead and add a border around this page because I loved what that orange washi tape was doing. I love how it kind of anchored the page. So I'm just going to add this all the way around, kind of as the basis for the page, and then I'm going to play with the placement of a few things over on that right-handed sidebar. There are a few things that I like about decorating in advance. So when I'm using this kit, first of all, it lets me get my hands into the kit right away. Like I get to play with all the beautiful supplies. I get really excited. And so it's fun to kind of experiment and see what the theme of the kit is all about just based on the images that you see with the stickers and the stamps and all of that. I also love that by planning in advance, by decorating in advance, that all of the weeks are going to have the same feel. It's a cohesive part of my planner. When I do my regular planning, my catch-all planning, I like for each week to have a different feel, go with different themes. But because this planner is specifically for studying these particular devotionals, the fact that I'm able to include them and have the same elements in each spread, it makes a really big difference, and I love how it feels. And then when you're flipping through the planner, once it's done, you get a feel of the theme as you're just flipping through. The third reason that I love getting this all set up in advance is it saves me time during the month. This process is not a short one. I would say I spent about an hour and a half decorating all of these pages of my planner for the month of October. So it took a good chunk of time right here at the beginning, but Now it is set up for the entire month. And when I sit down to read and study in the morning, which is when I do all of my faith study and faith planning and taking notes and things like that, then it just makes it easier at that point. I can open up this planner. It's already decorated. It's already beautiful. I just need to put in my study notes, and I really love that aspect. Okay, I'm speeding this up a whole lot, but basically what I'm doing is putting the title of each lesson on the week that I plan to study it. So lesson 1, understanding fear. Lesson 2 is going to be the source of our strength. Lesson 3, practicing faithful obedience. And lesson 4, walking in faith, not fear. These stickers that I am using are actually alpha stickers from By the Well for God. I have a ton in my stash. And then the stamp is Jill's typewriter stamp, which was a new release from Illustrated Faith in the month of October. I love it. It's like a larger typewriter stamp, which I think is awesome. And I love the contrast between the two different fonts going on. And now my month is all set up, ready to go. And then I can take my attention over to the weeks. All right, the first thing I want to do for the weeks is do the dating, because actually I almost forgot to do that last month. So again, Mojo Jojo's Date It sticker book coming in super handy. I'm going to go ahead and put all the dates on every day of the month. And I actually am going to go through the 30th and then pause right there. I'm not going to complete the next one. That will be in a different part of my planner for the month of November. I'm getting ready to decorate, but the first thing I want to do is sort all of this ephemera. Illustrated Faith sends you tons and tons and tons of paper ephemera every single month, and it can be easy to forget what you have. So I'm sorting it into some different piles. We have like an art supply pile, a florals pile, a leaf pile, butterflies, mushrooms, words, just trying to sort it because I thought it would be fun if for each week of the month I had kind of like a focus theme for that week as far as decor. So the theme for the first week, you may have guessed as I start to tear up this bag, is going to be mushrooms. We're going to put mushrooms for the first week. So I'm going to cut down the back of this bag where I already saw a seam and then cut on each side just to open it up so I can use it as paper. I love utilizing these bags each and every month. Don't be afraid to cut it up, to tear it up, to use it as background, to use it as layering pieces. It's a ton of fun to use all of these custom bags because they were designed to go with this particular kit. So why not just, enjoy using that paper? They're not going to last forever. I know a lot of people like to use them to store their kits in, and that's great for that particular month, but they won't last forever. So I generally end up moving my kit supplies to somewhere else, and that way I can really utilize the bag as well. So we'll just tear a bit of the paper up at the top, and then we're going to tear some at the bottom to set the tone. That is generally where I decorate on all of these Faith Planner pages. I either will aim my decor up at the top left or to the bottom right, or I will go down the spine of the page. I do that so that I can really maximize my writing room. This is the case in each of my faith planners. I work in this classic size faith planner, and then I also work in a big size faith planner, and I want to maximize my writing space as much as possible. So I like to decorate these for sure, but I do like to aim those decorations out of the lined spaces so I still have plenty of room to write. So you can see on these pages, I am playing with all of the mushroom ephemera. We're kind of grouping them along the spine right here and then in the top and the bottom. I'm going to leave room. I can add what I like to add up in the top here is a place with all of the scripture references that are in that particular lesson that week. So each week of the devotional has scripture references within that week that I will look through all week. Plus this October, there's actually a scripture of the day listed, and I'll show you how I plan to do that as well. So there are these really pretty stamps that come with the physical kit. I'm going to go ahead and cut apart these two pages and punch the holes on these so that I can put it back in the planner, because as I was wrapping up the decor on this page, I had a good idea. I'm going to go ahead and use this little like starburst stamp and stamp it throughout the week. You can see I'm putting it right next to the date, and I'm changing up the color. I picked out 7 different colors from my Distress Oxide collection that I thought went well with the kit. This one was very juicy. And then I'm going to just stamp the starburst on each page. This is going to be something consistent that goes through the whole month, which again, something I love, the consistency, because there is a verse of the day for each day. I thought it would be great to have a place that I notated. I can either just put the scripture reference or I can write out the verse of the day up there at the top of each and every day. Once I finish up the stamping, then I'm going to go back with some small black boxes, which I can put on top of each of these starbursts so that it gives a space to write what that scripture of the day is. I can go through and notate this in advance, or I can just punch some holes in the journaling card that was sent along with the kit, and then move it from week to week so I can just reference that. Another fun idea would be to use some labels. There are some printable labels that coordinate really well with the kit over in the Illustrated Faith Print and Pray shop. You could use those for writing out the scripture. There's all kinds of ways to do it, but because there is a scripture listed for every day of the month, I thought this would be a fun way to make room for those. All right, so for week 2, this is going to be an example of decorating down the spine. I'm going to have this week be all about the fall leaves, celebrating all things fall. I love the color scheme. I love the pink and the orange together. I think it is beautiful. I think it is a gorgeous fall color palette and one that is fun to work with. So super simple. All you have to do to work down the spine is put the 2 pages right next to each other, line up where those holes are, and then go ahead and cover your paper pieces really well with adhesive. I'm using Tombow permanent adhesive here. I want it to have a lot of stick to it because what I do is eventually you cut the 2 pages apart right down the middle, and then you can re-punch those holes. With the Illustrated Faith ephemera, it is very thick. It was like a really good quality ephemera. You're going to want the We Are Memory Keepers disc punch tool so that you can punch through those holes. If you are using a Happy Planner punch, it's not going to be strong enough to punch through those holes in a clean way. The We Are Memory Keepers works much, much better. Again, I'm kind of playing with the 2 corners, still leaving a space where I can write these scripture references for the lesson on that particular month, but also bringing the decor all the way across the page. You could most definitely just put it down the spine, and I think that would have impact enough. If you are using that top section for other purposes, maybe you're keeping prayer requests there, maybe you're writing out the focus for the week, you might use that section in a different way than I use it. You certainly don't have to add decor up there. I think down the spine is certainly pretty enough and makes a big enough impact. All right, once I have all of those extra little pieces, any of the pieces that I cut off that are hanging off the edge, I do like to reposition to frame out corners. I think it looks really nice and kind of anchors the page. Then once again, I just cut the 2 pages apart. I'm using my We Are Memory Keepers disc punch. It has a very cool guide on it that allows you to line up the punch with the hole that is right next to it so that you know all of the spacing is going to be correct. Sometimes finding the first hole can be a little bit tricky, so I'm just really careful to line up that first one, and then the rest of them fall in line nice and easily. And now we're ready to decorate for week 3. I wanted the theme for week 3 to be all of these gorgeous art supplies that Tamara had drawn out, including this box of crayons. I think it is so cute, and I love this verse up here. There is no fear in love, 1 John 4:18. So this one was a little bit trickier because these were larger pieces, and I had some negative space that I don't really like to use. I don't like having a lot of white space on my page in the decorative sections, and so I was having a little trouble bringing it all together. I thought some washi tape would help. This is washi tape, again, from Illustrated Faith, some of the older washi tape, and it's spotty dots, but the spotty dots are like a pink, which really complements this set well, and it anchors nicely over in the corner and at the top. I'm eventually going to bring in more washi tape as I start to place things down. So First up, I knew I wanted the crayons right there. Got to fit those in. I want the quote. And then I had to figure out how I was going to make those paintbrushes work for me. How was I going to make them kind of fill this space? I ended up hanging them off the page ever so slightly. And so you still get the impression of them being there. You still get the art supply feel, but they're not taking up quite so much room as they did when I was playing with them earlier. This is the point where I'm like, wouldn't it be great if I had some washi tape coming down the page, which is what I'm going to do right here. And I'm just going to extend my use of washi tape out from behind a few of these elements. So I'm going to use this piece that I just cut off. We're going to put it behind our crayons right here, and then to connect the other side of the page. That will work out really well. Just cut between. And then I thought it'll be nice to have them coming up from behind where all of those paintbrushes are in the mason jar down here. So I just have to very carefully separate this because I had already adhered it down, get that washi tape down, trim it off. And then that week is pretty simple, but this one might be one of my favorites because I'm in love with what these art supplies look like. Obsessed. They are so, so cute. For the last full week, I'm going to go out with a bang using the florals. The florals, I think, are actually my favorite part of the kit. They're my favorite thing that Tamara creates all of the time. I love her floral sets. I always pick them up from the Print and Pray shop because they are just so strikingly beautiful. So we're going to switch back and do spine decorating this time. So florals, these are some big pieces, so they cover a lot of room on the spine. I just had a little trouble getting them positioned in the right way so that I didn't have too many of the same flower next to each other and so that it would cover. I ended up needing just one more leaf to kind of interact in there so that I didn't have to use the big floral piece that I was wanting to use on a different section of this planner. So once I have the basic idea, then I'm going to go ahead and start putting pieces down. Sometimes as I'm putting pieces down, they don't end up in the exact same place that I had them when I was planning out in my head. And that's okay, because once they're actually in place, you kind of get a better sense of where things can belong, where they can fit. And so I was trying to make sure I wasn't covering up the days of the week, stuff like that. So trimming off, then I'm going to include that piece right here at the bottom just to finish it off. I love the quote from Annie Downs, "God is not the author of fear." What a fantastic quote. So that is going to fit in right there. And then I am going to leave a little space. We're going to play with the paintbrush here in a second. Love the paintbrush with the florals, but I want to leave a little bit of space up at the top so that I can write scripture references. So I'm going to end up moving the mug down to the bottom, leave the paintbrush at the top, and I think that that balances pretty nicely. So let's get the mug down on the paper, and then when I'm able to trim that one off ever so slightly, I'll be able to use those extra florals over in the bottom where my mug is going to live. I do like the mug. I went back and forth. Do I want to cut it? Do I not want to cut it? I decided to cut it so that I would have some more writing room on that particular Sunday, but let's go ahead and take off these little floral edges. Put that right there, and then I just have to cut the 2 pages apart. Once again, repunch those holes like you have seen me do a bunch of times. Like I said, this punch comes in really handy. I use it a lot, especially on days like this. And then I just need to decorate a little bit at the end of the month. I wanted to make sure I had the 30th and 31st included on this layout because it's a scripture a day and I wanted to have those references. So really simple decor just at the top over here, just so that I have, I have plenty of pieces to decorate with. Why not just, fill in the top? But I'm not going to finish out the rest of this layout because on this week, what I will most likely be doing is checking out those scriptures, but also going ahead and starting Gratitude Documented, which will be coming up in November for Illustrated Faith. The last page that I'm going to decorate is actually the title page, and I forgot a very key element to the title page, and that would be the title. So I'm going to decorate it, and then after I finish this video, then I'll go back and add the title in. I always like to include a little card. Shauna usually sends a card in the packages for the creative team with a little bit of inspiration, which I love, and so I've been saving those cards and putting them in my planner, and I like flipping to them every now and then because it makes you smile. So let's play with the bag a little bit more to cover up some elements over here on the side. The planner I'm using is the Kelva Plan planner, which already has a ton of decor mixed throughout. So I do end up covering up most of that as I'm decorating with my Illustrated Faith goodies. Again, repunching, just gonna get a few elements down on the page, including the card and some gorgeous florals that I had been saving to include up here. You're gonna see I end up with a big old blank spot in the middle of this page, and you know what that's gonna be perfect for? The actual title, which I'll have to go back. Like I said, this was a long process. This was like an hour and a half of work, and this part was at the very end, and I think I was just ready to go grab some lunch. So I will add the title in before I start the actual study in October. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. Like I said earlier, I will link Illustrated Faith down below. That is where I picked up the majority of these products. So make sure to check out that link if you're interested in joining us for the October devotional Fear Not. I want to give a huge shout out to all of my Patreon members. Thank you all so much for all of your support. We had a great time. The month of September was all about faith journaling. The month of October is going to be all about junk journaling, and it's going to be a great month. So if you would like to join us, find out more about Patreon, make sure to check the link in the description box below. All right, I hope that you have a fabulous day. And as always, keep it creative.